Here with Coach Dollar of Hobbs High School, and it's the second day, so third practice of 2 days. If you could just talk about, it's being your second year here, and just how the players have bought into the program and how it's kind of transformed year over year. I think that'd be a good starting point.
When I got here, the circumstances by which the job came open, they weren't ideal. But I had been trying to come to Hobbs for a long time. And so then I finally got the chance to be here. But the kids went to work. They weren't sure. They didn't know me. I had a completely different style of coaching than what they had ever been around, a little more demanding. And so, we went through that first off season and made a little progress, not near what we needed to make. And then we went through the football season. As the season progressed, we got better. And it didn't show up in wins, but it showed up in the attitude that the kids had, their work ethic, the way they approached what we were trying to do, and the passion for football. So as we went through this past spring and through the summer, the kids that have a passion for football are the ones that are here. And so we don't have the numbers that we had last year, but the quality is much better and the passion for playing football is much greater. And so the kids have bought in. Whatever I ask them to do, they do it without question. And they want to get better and they want to win. And they're determined. And so one of the things that we talked about together was that if we lose a game, let's make sure the other team beats us and we don't lose. And let's make sure they're better than us. And if they are, we'll go out and shake their hand after the game, and we know what we have to work on for us to get better. And so that's the mindset that the kids have. Being in that playoff game at the end of last year and winning it, and then getting to play against the state championship team, the kids know, hey, I want to be as good as they are, and they knew what they had to do to get there. Now, we're not there yet by any means, but unless you're here every day, you can't imagine the strides that we've made to get Hobbs back to being a football power like they were in the 70s and the early 80s. And the kids, they want to set a legacy for themselves to do that. So we're on track, and only time will tell, where we are, but I'm excited.
I saw a couple of you guys at the Elite 100 Combine. A couple of them came out, some offensive players and a couple linemen. If we could talk about offensive returners and some players that will be varsity starters this coming season.
Well, we lost 3 starters on offense off of last year's team. And we lost our running back, Patrick Smith. He had 2,200 yards rushing. But we got our linemen back. And so that's the heart and soul of any team, is your offensive line and your defensive line. So we got those guys back. They're a lot stronger, a lot faster. And instead of putting all the load on one back, we're going to spread it around between 6 or 7 backs. Now, we'll still run the football, and we won't have a guy that probably has all those big numbers. But at the end of the season, when you add up all the numbers, I think they'll be more than they were this last time, because we put fresher legs out there on the field. We rotate them through. We keep them for the whole season. They don't have to take as many hits. And then we're going to be able to throw the ball much better. And so I think offensively we're going to be harder to defend than we were. And our offensive line has had a whole year together, and I think they're just going to explode and be fantastic.
Is there one particular lineman that's kind of stepped up to be the team leader? Is it?
I think that Kevin Fry and Josh Schroeder are the 2 guys that pull everything together on the offensive line. Kevin's our center, and Josh is one of the tight ends. But those 2 guys, they're high character, they're very intelligent, their work ethic is unbelievable, and they have good athleticism, and they want to win.
We've talked about Reggie Mackey before. We've talked about the Wilson twins. I wanted to highlight one player that I haven't been able to highlight is Diego Rosa. Big season last year on the defensive side. I like what he brings to the table. Looks like a good offensive leader. Talk about his play and what he brings to your team.
We decided to make a change at quarterback. Tanner Wilson was our quarterback last year and did a fantastic job. but we needed another running back. Tanner's a better runner than he is a thrower, so we put Diego in there. Diego is a natural-born leader. He was our leading tackler on defense, playing free safety. Well, that kind of tells you what kind of defense we had right there. Not very good. But he's a natural leader. He keeps everything going. He's very intelligent. He throws a good ball, and he has a grasp of the entire offense. He sees the big picture. And if your quarterback has to be a big picture guy to see what's going on and everything. And he's that player. And I think he'll be the catalyst on offense to keep everything going.
Switching to the defensive side, I know that's one of the areas we talked about earlier that needs to improve, allowing a bunch of points last season in each game. If you can talk about some defensive starters and maybe just the area as a whole and how it's improved and some players that are going to make some big plays come Friday night.
We were not very good on defense, but I think we're going to be a lot better because one of the issues that we had on defense is we were poor tacklers. And one of the reasons we were poor tacklers is we were weak. We didn't have the physical strength to be good tacklers. So we've made the gains in the weight room. And then the kids, they know if we don't play good defense, we'll never win in 5A. So they've committed to being better on defense. Our two defensive ends, Josh Schroeder and Eric Ford, are bookend type. Both of them 6'3", both of them 235, 240, and they both can run. They're both, right around 5 flat. Eric's probably a little bit under 5 flat. And so those two guys, you got to have the defensive ends in any defense. Well, we think we have two pretty good ones. And then our secondary, all of them but one is back. So they're going to have a lot more confidence. We have good speed back there. They're pretty smart. And so where we got killed was against spread teams. They just wore us out. And one thing is we couldn't rush the passer. I think we're going to be able to do a better job rushing the passer. And so then that made our coverage look really bad because we couldn't put any pressure on the quarterback. But against Rio Rancho, we had 5 interceptions and 3 sacks, I think, and one of them was for a touchdown. So we know we got better. Now, we still gave up a lot of pass yards in that game, but I didn't feel too bad about it considering the two guys, the quarterback and the receiver, that we were having to go against, the two best in the state. Mm-hmm. And we won the game, so we did something right.
Sure.
And so anyway, we're making progress defensively, and if we can get the defense to the same level as the offense, then we have a chance to win a whole lot more than we lose.
Looking at the 5A picture as a whole, we talked about it's very competitive. There's not just 3 or 4 teams that are going to, fight it out for the blue. There's more than likely going to be 10. I mean, that's how competitive it'll be this year. Talk about just 5A and how you kind of see it, and just not really overall expectations, but just 5A as a whole and how you see it.
If you can't tackle Ronnie Daniels, then you got to pick LaQuaven, because people, I think, they had a lot of seniors, but we played them. I know what they got coming back. They had some young kids that they played against us when the game got out of hand, and they're huge and they're athletic. And then you still have Ronnie Daniels. Mayfield is Mayfield. Every year they're going to be there. They're big and strong and fast. Then you got Cruces High. They're always right there in the mix. You have to beat them or you're through. And then Clovis. Clovis lost their lineman, but they got all their running backs back, and they got a new quarterback that's a better athlete than the one they had. He was their free safety last year. And then Sandia beat Cruces High last year. Athletically, skill player-wise, they're as good as anybody anywhere every year. Sometimes they make mistakes and beat themselves, but it's not because of the athleticism that their players have. And then, after that, that's the top. Then I think there's 5 or 6 more teams that are all about the same. I would like to think that we're in that next level mix. And if we can beat some teams that people don't think we can beat, then we might can jump up into that top level type team. And, that's a deal where we have to do it out on the field. I can't talk about it, get it done. We have to do it in order to get there. So, I've been in this situation before. I understand what it takes